What are the big expectations from the India-US relationship with the Republican administration in power in the United States? Joining us right now is Congressman Rich McCormick, who is the co-chair of the India Caucus. Mr. McCormick, thank you so much for joining us here on CNBC-TV18. India enjoys a trade surplus with the United States that is to the tune of around $35 billion. What's the expectation on the trade front? Is there appetite for a full free trade agreement with India, a limited trade deal, and how would you expect India to reduce the trade deficit?
So I'm a free trade guy. You have a $27 trillion economy in the United States. You have less than 5 in India. So it's not fair to assume that India is going to buy the same amount that we're going to consume based on also what you're producing. Is it something of value that we want to purchase? As long as India is not putting unfair tariffs on America, we shouldn't do the same to you. Open, fair agreement. We're not going to have equal trade with everybody. That's okay. As long as there's not unfair trade practices that are involved. That's my personal opinion. Now, President Trump may see that a little bit different. I hope not, because I think when you start putting tariffs on it, especially if India doesn't have unfair tariffs, then there should be no reason for that. But I think the expectation is just to have fairness, and I think President Trump's been very careful not to cater to any kind of negative talk towards Prime Minister Modi. I think he understands the importance of that relationship and has enjoyed that relationship to this point.
You spoke about defense sales to India, how you would like to see more defense purchases being made by the Indian government. Now, we had a very crucial deal which we had signed with the previous administration that was for GE 414 engines to be manufactured in India with an Indian public entity called HAL. What we hear is that price negotiations are on currently. And somewhere the US administration is now seeking a higher price per engine. So those price negotiations are yet to be concluded. What's your view? Will such a deal go through, or do you think the terms will be revised?
Well, when you say higher price, I think you mean we want a better price, which means probably a lower price. And that's what all businesses do. It doesn't matter if it's foreign or domestic, trying to find the best price point for or something that's been bid on. The bidding process in military sales has been very convoluted and not very efficient. And quite frankly, the way that we've gone to these legacy systems have kind of hamstrung us into the future when we develop technologies every year that metamorphize how we fight war in the future, whether it be through drones, supersonic technology, space satellites, crypto, all these things that are really going to come into the modern battlefield and increasing the kill chain. In other words, our ability to put death downrange very efficiently because we only have so many resources. We're seeing right now live in Ukraine what works and what doesn't work on navigation systems, communications, weapon systems, countermeasures. It's fascinating. But the legacy systems that go 10 years of R&D, 10 years of incorporation, 10 years of sustainment, those years are going to be gone in the near future. So engines aside, I think India has proven that they're very good at technologies, at advancing technology. To put a spaceship on the dark side of the moon for less than $100 million, are you kidding me? We never see that in America, and that's the future. When they can prove it, they can do it better, faster, more cheaply. That's a product that everybody's going to consume, and you can compete with China and everybody else around the world market, and India's proven that they're very good at that.
Right. Now, coming back to trade fairness, are there any areas that the India Caucus is hoping and expects India to lower tariff barriers in?
I think anything that's competitive with China, who since they've been a member of the World Trade Organization, has basically cheated their way to the top. They've tripled their economy with the Made in China initiative, but they've also been taken to court, I think, some 27 times by the United States, lost every single battle, and then just gets better at cheating. They're basically pillaging people in Africa and other countries around the nation, and printing money, not having any accountability. Their central banking system is corrupt. Their economy is staggering right now, and I think they're going to be in big trouble as their population continues a dramatic decline. You'll see the rise of India, and we'll be able to hopefully turn to a country that's very friendly to produce similar products that China right now has the corner on, and they've done it through cornering the market through government supplements to businesses, picking winners and losers, and really doing unfair trade things. I think that India does it much better and can do it on the same price point. And I think anytime we can involve a favorable nation over a country that's openly defying us and going against the things that we think are important for a democracy going forward, I think we should always marry up with India where we can.
So make America great again, America first. How will it align with self-reliant India. Prime Minister Modi has a vision of self-reliance in manufacturing. Can these two visions of President Trump and Prime Minister Modi be aligned?
Of course. Like I said, we already have things we rely on, whether it be TSMC in Taiwan on chip making, on PPA, drugs, things that are produced in China, different things that China produces on mass or cheaply. India could definitely supplant them in that. We can give them most favored nation status when it comes to trade. Make sure that when we give incentives, that it's towards businesses that marry up with countries that are more aligned with our thought process. We know that the Arunachal Pradesh region of India, there's a dispute between China and India, making sure that we're very clear about who our friends and who our enemies are. We can see this in Palestine, we can see this in Ukraine, we can see this wherever our interests are served, and India can be a good friend. We should reach out and sustain that. And when it comes to production, when it comes to things that just simply aren't going to be produced in the United States anymore unless there's an absolute need, once again, you want to have things that are especially strategically important to us, medicines, PPE, things that can be produced in other countries cheaply, but also from a friendly nation status. Somebody's not going to turn on us on a dime. That's where India really comes in as a valued strategic partner.
Right. On H-1B, now there has been a bit of concern that there will be a clampdown on the H-1B program. What's your sense and recommendation?
My recommendation is we actually expand it. If you look at my bill that I put in, I believe it's HR 6542. I'm sure it'll be redesignated this Congress, but it actually gets rid of that 7% cap. That people who have been waiting for 20 years to become citizens, they're already producing jobs, they're producing tax revenue, they're the best kind of citizen in the United States.
President Trump's priority has been to do away with illegal immigration.
Yes.
He's in talks with India to deport 18,000 Indians staying illegally in the U.S. Some worry that the numbers could be much larger, as much as 750,000. Is that a number that you're going by and recommending that they should be deported to India?
No, and here, once again, we're supposed to be starting with criminals. We have 2 million people that came into this country illegally, came here illegally, and avoided actually capture, and they're not here on asylum, they just got here. We start with those people. We don't eliminate people who are creating jobs, who are getting taxed, who came here legally and then ran out because the process failed them, which we created. We should be looking to also create a way that there's a two-way door. So if you go back, you say, okay, mea culpa, I'm going back on my own, but I would love to have first rights to get here legally and actually continue to contribute to the American society. That's what I want to reinforce. I want this to be a nation of laws, but I also want laws that make sense for America. And we need more people in hotels. We need more people in healthcare. We need more people in IT. We need more people in the military. We need more people in agriculture. We need more people because we have an expanding community and economy that's 27 trillion. Most people can't fathom that. 27 trillion. That's $10 trillion more than China. That's 20 trillion more than most any other economy besides China, and that's 7 trillion more than all of Europe combined. That's a big economy that has to be sustained by manpower, and we need certain people every year, and we have to right-size our legal immigration to benefit the United States, and that benefits the whole world, because quite frankly, we're the most philanthropic, generous nation that helps people all over the world. We can't do that if we don't have a strong economy.
My final question would be, which would be the 2 or 3 priority points that you would lay out in the relationship, which you feel are currently irritants as per the Trump administration vis-a-vis India and places that need immediate attention?
Okay. I truly want to have free trade. I want to have no bias between our nations when it comes to trade. I think that has always worked for both of us. We get products, you get products. We don't inhibit each other. That's the best system for trade. When it comes to military alliance and stuff like that, I actually would like to see some treaties into the future that actually bind us close. Because right now we're friends, but we're not allies. I want to have something right that says, you know what? If you serve our best interests, we're going to be your allies for forever. We'll be family. That if you're attacked, we're attacked. That's the way we look at it because we align with you that closely. You're that important to the strategic importance of that area, which is 70% of the world's population, 70% of the world's wealth, 70% of the militaries that exist in that area. That's what matters. And to pay attention to that, to strengthen our ties in the future in every way we can. Not politically, militarily, economically. the closer we tie each other together, the better we're going to be off, because I think it benefits both countries dramatically. And I'd love to see India become the second largest economy in the world. I think it's going to take time, but I think they do it right rather than cutting corners.
And buying more energy, including LNG from the U.S.
I would love to see that, especially. I don't think Russia is a good partner. I know it's cheap, because I know they're struggling to sell their stuff, because the rest of the world is saying no. But to have India buy Russian products and then resell it to Europe is just disingenuous. It's disingenuous of Europe as much as it is of India. But it's funding a war that's unjust. And we are moral people. And I'm going to speak to the Indian people just for a second, because you are a moral people. I know this for a fact. I've eaten dinner. I have friends I consider family. We're moral people. We don't want to see a country invade. You don't want to see India invaded by China and say, no, it's legitimately ours. And you know it's not. You know that Ukraine voted 90% to leave the USSR a long time ago. Soviet Union agreed to it, signed a contract, said we'll defend you if you're attacked, and then attacked. That's not in good faith. We know this is killing hundreds of thousands of people. Children are being kidnapped, thousands. Nobody in India should think that's okay. We shouldn't be supporting it economically, including Prime Minister Modi. I challenge you to do the right thing.
That's all we had time for on this special broadcast from Washington, D.C. Keep tuning in to CNBC TV 18 for more news and updates.